Happy Friday, my friend. Instead of the live video today, I will share the creation of these journal covers. And stay tuned for the giveaway at the end of the video. Enjoy! Hi, I'm Laura, and I like to write and draw and make lists and write and draw and give gifts and write and draw. And I also like turning these cheap, simple notebooks and turn them into these beautiful, colorful, and playful journals. And here's what you'll need to do it. Get some contact paper, pretty much any size will do, as long as it's wider than your notebook's cover by at least 3 inches. Usually I get a bigger size, but this time I didn't notice the size I had ordered online. Then attach it to a flat surface like a wooden, plastic or glass board that is flat and big enough to support your contact paper. In the past I've used a framed window, and this time I'm using an old cabinet door. It'll probably get paint on it, so don't use something that is too precious. So attach the contact paper to the board by using some painter's tape. Then a really important step is to rough it up a little bit with a sandpaper to make it a little bit more porous until the surface is not too shiny, but don't scrub too roughly as you might make a hole right through. Then wipe the dust with a damp cloth or a paper towel and you're good to pour the paint on. If you've never poured paint before or don't plan to be doing a whole lot of paint pouring in the future, I'd recommend purchasing some pre-mixed paints, and I left a link to such paints in the description. If you already have some acrylic paints at home, you can use some Liquitex pouring medium or Floetrol to a ratio of 1 part paint and 2 parts pouring medium to make the paint more fluid. I left a card in the upper right corner with a link to a video that helps you to mix your own paint at home. Since I pour paint for YouTube videos and at in-person workshops, I always have plenty of leftover paint on hand, and this is my preferred way to use them. That's why my notebook covers have more muted colors. I enjoy that, but you may like to use more vibrant colors for yours. For these swipes, I put a couple of drops of silicone oil in some of the paints, but not all. It takes about a week or so for the paint to fully dry, but I always like to let it cure flat without anything touching it for several weeks before using it. But don't wait too long to use it. I would use it within a year or so, otherwise the paint does get dry and flaky. When you're ready to use it or put it away for future use, just cut it with a precision knife inside of the masking tape as straight as you can and put it aside. Then grab your blank boring old notebook and set it on the inside of its future coat, and turning it this way and that, establish the best position for it to go. When I use a larger contact paper, the width of it has enough space for 2 notebooks, generally, so I always try to make the best use of the space. Then let the paper hang over the notebook's edges about 1.5 inches to wrap around it, and you'll see why in a bit. Most contact papers have reference lines on the back, so just use those to be as precisely straight as you can when you cut the paper, and it's no problem if your hands wobble, the edges will be covered anyway. Then we peel the back of the contact paper and reveal the cool underside of the pour, which most people might like better than the front. Then grab your notebook and place one side as equally as you can, 1.5 inches away from the edges. Then turn it over on its side, then bring the remaining contact paper over the notebook and press down on all sides evenly, trying to make all of the surfaces adhere to each other. Then in the back I have that elastic band that keeps the notebook closed, and to work with it, I establish the position of where it comes out under the cover and make a horizontal slit. Then I complete the slit halfway through the middle, upwards and downwards. I do that on the upper and lower sides, then I grab my elastic and bring it over the top and through the open slits like so. Then on all corners I make a diagonal outward slit and vertically and horizontally outward, so that's 3 slits per corner. That will make it easier to fold in the corners neatly and not be too bulky or peel up. Then at the crease of the notebook's binding, make a vertical slit downward so that you can fold the lower edge upwards. Then repeat this step for all remaining corners. And those 2 little paint strips that extend the spine, just cut them. My camera must have died at that very moment because I didn't find the footage for it, but just trimmed the excess. There's usually no effective way to fold them in without them popping out, and I find it much easier and better looking to simply trim them off. Then what I like to do is cover the inside of the cover with the first page, and I just spread some paper glue and fold it over and press down to even it out and adhere as best as possible. Sometimes it doesn't stick right away, so just place something heavy on top of it and let it sit thusly for a bit. And voila! Aren't they pretty? And I made this one especially for you with one of my favorite pours. I'll varnish it and then I'll send it to one of you. Yes, this is giveaway time. If you'd like this notebook, all you need to do is 1. Be subscribed to my YouTube channel. Leave me a comment down below saying I like to write or draw, etc. Then subscribe to my email newsletter where I will be announcing the grand winner. The draw will be done live on the summer solstice, Sunday, June 20th. Good luck and I'll see you around. Until then, here's a friendly reminder to trust the flow.